There is a time to bid goodbye to the old and the ordinary, and to awaken the beauty within. That time is now. It is time to wake up and take charge of life. Awaken to a new way of thinking. Awakening with Brahmakumaris. Namaskar and welcome to Awakening with Brahmakumaris. Welcome, sister.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Going Beyond. In the last episode, sister, we were speaking about a lot of words which start with the letter C.
Yeah.
First we started comfort zone, and then criticism, and
comparison.
Criticism and comparison. When I was a child, I used to be compared a lot and criticized. So one of my friends told me a small story. He said there was an artist who made a painting, and he showed his father. So it was about a few hundred years back. So he said, "Okay, go and put it on the square somewhere in the middle of a road, and ask people to give their comments." And the next day morning, when he was totally shattered and depressed, because there were hundreds and thousands of people writing the mistakes down. This is a mistake, this is a mistake, And he came home crying. When he asked his father again, he said, "Father, what do I do now?" He said, "Now, go to the same square, keep the painting there, and say, 'These are the mistakes, kindly correct.'" And not a single correction was there.
How sweet. Absolutely. That's about shifting from, criticizing to actually creating something which is possible. And that also comes in a subtle way when we are complaining a lot. We complain a lot about things and situations, but that's where this story would fit so beautifully, that instead of just complaining and criticizing, do something to bring about the change which you feel should have been there. When we complain about something, because we have an image about how this thing could have happened better. So we are talking through that image and saying this is not right, whatever is happening around us.
Passing judgment.
Complaining about things. So instead of complaining, if we would do something to create what we want, then we would shift from complaining to creating the right image, which is so beautiful, and which is very true even in the case of criticism. Never say anything to anyone unless you can do it better.
Huh?
Yeah, never.
How can that be, sister?
Yeah, it's very important, because there are a lot of people who love to constantly tell other people that this is how they should behave, this is how they should work, this is not the right way to work, it could have been done like this. But when they get the same responsibility to do it, they might not do it better than them. So if it's not your quality, and if it's not your capacity, and then without the power of conviction, even if you say it to the other person, it won't work.
You're
so
right.
Let's just say those things to other people. It's like a parent is not honest, but they're teaching their children honesty. A parent is angry, but is teaching their child to be relaxed and peaceful. A parent is tensed and asking the child to be calm.
I smoke and tell my son not to smoke.
Yeah, and criticize him for what it's doing. It doesn't work really. So it has to come from the power of conviction. Then the feedback will go with the right energy. Otherwise it's critical energy, because I don't believe in it and I'm saying it to the other person.
But it can be sometimes you can say, "Look, I've done this mistake and I've got addicted to this for anything, like for a cigarette, or I am in the comfort zone of getting angry and getting things done. Please, I'm not able to get out of this. Why don't you learn?" Even then the child doesn't learn.
Well, the child can also say, "I am also in my comfort zone of getting angry and getting work done."
So finally what?
So if it's like,
then
if
you're
I
right.
can't get up from here and I say, "You get up," but then I should understand that if I can't get up, which means it's a little tough to get up, There is some reason that I'm not able to give up that habit.
Agreed.
I'm not able to give up that addiction. But it's very easy to say to the other person, you give it up. You leave it. Why don't you do it? I can't do it, but why don't you do it? Won't work.
So, influence.
Yes, absolutely. It's very important. The right energy will create miracles. One, stable, accepting, and second, having it first inculcated in our own life. That power of conviction can also do wonders for the other soul. And the other thing that we were talking about, comparison, we really need to take care of this because it's very subtle but very conveniently forgotten in the whole day that the person I'm talking to is not just what I'm seeing now. That's why Rajayoga helps, because soul consciousness means look at the soul. This is a soul that you are talking to, and a soul means someone who's had a long, long, long journey.
Mm-hmm.
When we say my child, then I'm just seeing 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, whatever. But soul with a very long journey. A soul in different costumes, different parents, different cultures, different challenges, different situations because of which different sanskars. So it's very easy to just see the soul now and say, you shouldn't be like this, you should be like this.
He's got so many past traits.
So much past, which is very, very deep ingrained. Today in medical science, if somebody has some problem with the personality, any kind of a thing which they want to give up and they can't, so what the doctor would do is talk to them about their childhood. Take them back to their childhood. What happened? Were they abused sometime in their childhood? Then that is the reason why they have low self-esteem. That's the reason why they're insecure. But what if they have not been abused in this childhood? We say, I don't understand why this is happening. But what if they were abused in a previous birth? Then, what if something much bigger than that had happened in their previous birth? Costume changed. But what had happened and the way I had reacted that time has left a mark. What if a very close family member had died at a very young age in my previous birth? I automatically become very possessive in this birth. Automatically. Now people around me can't understand why I am so possessive. But I am possessive because I
myself might not be able to understand.
I might not be able to understand.
Because why am I so possessive? Yes. Because I don't know my past myself.
Yes. Suppose in the past birth I was rejected by family. Suppose I was an orphan just left on the road. And I have that deep ingrained sanskar that nobody loved me and they left me on the road. Today, even though I have everybody, I have everyone.
But I have those traits
of rejection. And that's why the slightest word from someone, the slightest stimulus, which to another person would feel, I don't know why they're reacting like this. Why are they behaving like this? I didn't say anything. It's that past sanskar. Past sanskars are not only of this past.
I have a problem. I hate to be compared. I just cannot take it. With all the help, all the awareness, all the hard work, the moment somebody compares, I said, what the hell? I am Suresh Oberoi, man.
Yes.
Don't you compare me to anybody else. I am what I am.
Wonderful. But it's good to be aware.
No, but this is, I don't know how many past janmas this is, but this one word of comparison,
the reason for
it hits
this,
me very hard.
But the reason for this is, like you already shared with us in the previous episode, that you faced a lot of comparison in this childhood also. See, as a child, you couldn't react back and tell them to keep quiet if somebody compared you. But every time you were compared to someone else, it hurt. Now, to some other child, comparison might not affect that much.
Maybe, sister, that comparison was not that big.
Exactly, that's what I said.
So it must have come from, I can't say that I was compared so much, but I reacted a lot and I hated to.
But because I was weak in that particular department, because something had happened previously, and because of that, a slightest comparison now hurts more in this childhood. But then every time it hurts, the sanskar gets deeper. I don't like comparison. I don't like comparison. Because the hurt is much more than what it would hurt somebody else.
Yep.
And now another person will say, I don't know why you're being so sensitive. Why are you making such a big thing out of it? It was just a small thing. I don't think I said anything wrong, because we're not able to understand the other person. And at that time, even the other person is not able to understand, why am I reacting so much? Past sanskars. Now we have to look at the soul, first see their behavior, understand that this thing affects them because of something in the past. And that soul themselves has to now start working on the past. Very important. Otherwise, what will happen? It's a carry forward. This lifetime, you will keep getting hurt when you're compared, and if not healed now, then the sanskar carry forwards. And every time the sanskar carry forward, it just becomes stronger and stronger, and the power to face it becomes lesser and lesser. So the minute we become aware, the next stage is, let me start working on it. Let's say comparison hurts you. Now every day you should talk to yourself. It's okay if people are comparing me to anyone else. I know who I am. So now it becomes very important that if I have become aware of my sanskar, which is creating discomfort, let me change it, because it's not going to finish on its own. It's not going anywhere on its own. It's just going to get deeper and deeper and hurt more and more every time it happens. And then it doesn't finish only while in this costume. Costume change, another birth, sanskar carry forward. The only one thing that we carry forward from birth to birth is our sanskars. Everything else left behind. And yet in the entire lifetime, we take care of everything else except our sanskars. So it's so important to take care of our sanskars, keep working on them, and very important, understanding other people. And not being very impractical by asking them to say, change, change. How can you be like this? It may not be as easy for them. And we cannot imagine how much pain somebody is going through, because we think it's very simple. Like, let's say you said comparison really hurts, and while you were saying it, I could see that it really hurts. But to me, comparison wouldn't even create a single thought here.
But what did I do to others? To a weak man or a person who's slow, I used to tell him, why are you so slow? This man's so slow. Come on, be a man, run, rush. I never used to understand for the others. But I would kill a man if somebody would say you're a liar or comparison. These two words, I get hurt. Like that, I never understood in my life that I should also take care of somebody else.
Compassion is missing.
Yes, another C.
Yes, yeah. Compassion is missing.
See, compassion was not missing. Compassion is there, but understanding was missing. When I understood that if I get hurt, the other person too. So I should not hit somebody who cannot, so hard with such words by comparing or calling him names.
True.
So that, I know that he cannot answer back.
Absolutely. Yes.
He's a weaker person.
Right.
And how much he must be suffering inside.
Inside. And the more we keep saying it to them, their weakness goes on increasing because they're not working on themselves.
And I'm making bad karmas too.
Yes, and plus also increasing your reactive behavior.
Means?
Every time you're going to shout at somebody else or say something to them, you're creating negative energy because you haven't liked what they've done. So you've criticized somebody. So you create negative energy, send it to them, they create pain, send it back to you. So your sanskar of criticism increases, and their sanskar of getting hurt deepens. And the vicious cycle just goes on because one of us needs to break it.
So things are getting worse.
The wound is just getting deeper. So let's be a little more compassionate, and the only way to have compassion for everyone is this soul is on a long journey. I have compassion for you means I understand what you're going through. That is compassion. Compassion, nothing else. Love,
compassion means understanding.
Understanding. I have compassion for what they're feeling now. Means their feeling, their behavior is not creating any disturbance here. So this is compassion, complete understanding of the perspective of the other person. This is compassion. And that's why when somebody is behaving a little unreasonably, we'll say, have compassion for the other soul. Means understand what they're going through. Don't just give your perspective. It's easy to keep on giving your perspective. Have you understood the other soul, their sanskars, their capacity? It's very easy to say you should be like this and not like this. Do you know what the other person is going through? Have compassion. That is compassion, truly understanding. And soul consciousness really helps, because then we see the soul not only in this limited perspective, but in a bigger perspective, on a longer journey, having seen so many scenes. And today here, in my company, in my connection, for me, the role could be to help them to change the sanskar, or the other option, criticize and deepen the sanskar. Two options only.
Criticize and deepen the sanskar,
right,
or
help them
the other person
to heal the sanskar by understanding. Unless we understand them, we will not be able to help them to heal themselves. And the soul themselves also now need to start working. People will compare you because they don't know that it hurts. See? And even if they know it hurts, they won't remember it every time. Because for them, it's something very simple. It's not a very big thing. So now...
Sister, even the small thing, Johnny, yes papa, eating sugar, no papa, telling lies, ha, yes. I said, why do they teach a child telling lies?
Yeah.
You know, that lie thing, I don't know, it was from childhood.
Because somewhere, in some birth, probably somebody has cheated you very big. Very big.
Or maybe I was hanged saying that he was a liar.
No.
Or maybe I was thrown in.
You were not a liar. It is somebody else had lied to you.
Okay.
And you had suffered because of that. And that's why you don't like a lie. If you were the liar, then you're carrying the sanskar of being the same again.
Achha.
But it's because somebody else had lied to you, and not a small thing. It must have been something
very big.
Very, very big. See, basically the mark remains on the soul, na? The wound that got created because of that stimulus, that remains. And now the slightest stimulus on these wounds reopen and they start hurting again.
So what I understand from what you say is nobody knows what word, which thing, which person will react to so much.
So now I need to understand, I cannot expect people to always understand what I feel. And I cannot always keep telling them, this hurts me. Don't speak like this. What I can do is start working on myself. I don't like people using the word liar, or I don't like people being dishonest to me. Maybe somebody was dishonest to me sometime, but it's past. It's over. I'm not going to carry that sanskar. Everyone around me is honest today. And if today someone still chooses not to be honest, I understand they're carrying that sanskar due to some other reason.
And they're making their karmas.
See, most important, even if they're making their karmas, if we say, then that's not compassion.
Yeah.
Then that's more like, okay,
let him die. Let him go
they're creating this bad karma. But compassion is, that soul is just not being able to be honest. So there is some sanskar which is not allowing them.
I can always give him good wishes.
That's compassion.
May this soul be healed of this problem.
Absolutely. And instead of criticism, now this compassion will radiate pure energy to that soul and help that soul to change. Many of us want to change. Like somebody who has the habit of being dishonest might want to be honest, but something blocks. Either what other people, how they will react, that blocks, or some very deep sanskar of being dishonest. So all that they need is this comfortable, compassionate energy from people around. Criticism and comparison actually stops the journey of transformation of the soul.
Criticism
and comparison stops the journey of transformation of the soul. Even if they want to change.
And what about the punishment?
That again, see, it's like a plant which is growing. A child is a plant which is growing, and here we go and give them all that critical and negative energy. We literally trample that plant. Our role was that, okay, if they're going in this direction, we give them the support and take it to this direction. But we can't go and trample them by giving them negative energy and just finishing their self-esteem. So even if they ever think of growing in that direction, they won't be able to because they're trampled. At every step, the right way of correcting anybody is empowerment. Empowerment. Because correcting means helping them to change a sanskar, not punishing them for their past. Then what we are doing is only punishing them for what they have done. But empowering them is helping them to do it the different way. The two things are totally different. If a child has made a mistake, let's say a child stole something from school and brought, told a lie in school, beat up somebody in school, made some mistake in school. One is punish him for what he has done. And the other is help him, guide him, understand him and empower him so that he doesn't do it a second time. But punishment and empowerment cannot go side by side. They're two different tracks altogether. Punishment means lowering his self-esteem, and lowering his self-esteem reduces his power to move on the other track. Because he's anyways weak, that's why he did it. Anyways weak. It's a weak soul who makes mistakes. We all make mistakes only when we are weak.
What a nice line. We all make mistakes when we are weak.
Absolutely.
And if somebody is weak, he's weak. What can he do about it?
Yes. So what can I do about it but? I can help them to become stronger rather than just criticizing their weakness. That's the role of family and friends. But if I keep on criticizing their weakness or comparing them with others, then I'm only helping them to become weaker. And every time they become weaker, I criticize them more. And the cycle just goes on. So very, very subtle checking. Role to empower, to heal, not discipline. Even the word discipline needs to go out now. Discipline is not our role.
There's such better words, love, compassion,
Yeah, healing them. It's important to heal everybody and really heal internally. We're only looking at the task, the mistake, and we feel if we punish them, they won't make the mistake again.
Says who? If that was true,
yeah, everything would be perfect very soon. But they will not make the same mistake again only if they have the power to do it better the next time. So that's the role of any authority figure, whether it's parent, whether it's a team leader, any authority figure, the role has to shift now from being authoritative, controlling, disciplinary to loving, compassionate, facilitating, guide, empowering, healing. It's a totally different list, but that will create the results. A very simple way to start doing that in the whole day is, let's stop complaining. Complaining is another C which really can deplete the energy of every soul, and especially of the one who's doing it.
And also the person who listens.
Yes.
I get tired of people complaining.
Yes.
Stop it, yaar.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. See how it can sound? Yeah. So if we are in that habit of complaining, let's pause and check. What are we trying to do? Are we trying to say that we want a perfect world? The world is not perfect. And this is our weakness. If we are expecting the world to be perfect, if we are expecting people to be perfect, let's accept them as they are and then move forward with them. One day checking, can I live the entire day today without complaining about anything? I really need to check how strong I will feel by the end of the day, because I'll save a lot of energy. It's a very simple thing. Let's say you go for dinner to a restaurant and two people are sitting for dinner and the person who comes to serve them serves them soup. But the soup doesn't turn out to be as hot as it's supposed to be, or turns out to be cold, let's say. One person will react, complain, shout at the waiter, and the other person could just call him, say the soup is cold, can I request you to get me another one, please?
What is this? You're having a restaurant. We're paying so much. Look at the rates you're charging. And this is how you work.
Yes. Give me the complaint register. Call the manager. I would like to complain. What's the result? Feedback, request. Complaint, damaging. Somewhere it's our subtle ego which is working. The person who's complaining has an attachment to a certain image of how things should be, attachment to an image of how people should be with me. And if people are not going to be that way with me, then I'm going to complain because it's a threat to the image that I have about myself. So it's very, very subtle. I want them to do this way, speak to me like this way, because this is who I am. And this is how they should be.
Beautiful,
very subtle.
Beautiful. Sister, can we have a meditation on this?
But it's also important that now throughout the day we start doing a little homework.
Okay.
And start taking care. Complaints. Be aware. The minute I start complaining, stop.
I shall not complain today.
This is depleting my energy and the energy of everyone around me. Criticism, comparison, control. 4 C's. To be replaced by compassion and understanding.
Let's go beyond them.
Let's sit back. And let me look at myself in the field of relationships. Scene after scene. Accepting each situation as it comes. This is exactly how it was meant to be. And now, I have the power to change it to something better. The past is over. The present and the future is a choice. Let me see myself today with everybody. No complaints and no criticism. How would the day be? The same staff, the same driver, the same children, the same people on the road, driving their own way, the same colleagues at work, the same spouse. Everyone is the same, doing things their way, through their sanskars. But today, I am changing my sanskar, the sanskar of criticism and complaining. Let me see myself. How will I be with them today? As I watch them behave the way they think is right, how will I respond? Understanding them with love and compassion. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Thank you so much.
Namaskar.
Give advice and corrections to others only after we are doing it in our own lives. Each soul is carrying sanskars of many births, created due to cultures and situations in every birth. Sanskars which are not comfortable need to be changed, else we carry them into our next birth too. Criticism deepens their wounds and sanskars get stronger. Compassion helps them to heal their sanskars. Correcting people means empowering them to do it better in the future. Punishment was for what had happened in the past. Shift from control, discipline, authoritative, punishment to being compassionate, facilitate, guide, empower, and heal. If you wish to discuss your problem or have a question to ask or want to know your nearest Rajayoga Meditation Center, write to us at awakeningwithbks@gmail.com or call us on 099 99 744 555.